As you can see, there's fluid down there. We'll get the brake shaft out and then the clutch shaft. Just broke it. Ouch. So there's not really much of a reason to even take this off because we can't even do anything until we get this off. This is what's important because we need to pull this bottom shaft out and let the gear drop down. This gear will drop down, then we can slide this out. Right now this gear is up in here and we won't be able to pull this out until we take this cover off. So next I got to get this circlip out. There's another one right here. And I was putting these in here. I'm trying different ways of prying this out, but what I discovered is I can shove this screwdriver right up against, and then you can hit it, and you can see it's starting to come out. Let's see what happens here. All right, let me get the camera out of the way. It looks like that's the way I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna work my screwdrivers around there. I got her. I just had to keep working it around. There's another one that was on the outside. That was easy to take off. So I got these both off. I mean, I don't know if I could have ran bolts in because it's threaded. So that takes care of that. All right, I think I'm getting it. This comes off. There's a washer right here. So that has the ridge facing out. Remember that, John, when you go to put this back together again. Now there's another circlip back here. There's that guy. Now this theoretically should slide out. Oh, there it is. It slid down. So now this, see that gear drop down? Now it should allow this to come out. There we go. Whew, that's it. Oh wow, that's not good. Oh my God, that's a chunk of metal. Clip out. That was easy. I should be able to just, yeah. So here comes that. All right, got that one. There we go. All right. So there's the one seal that we're going to change. You can see it's cracked. There we go. Golly. Same diameter, not as thick. Doesn't look as bad, but I bet it's leaking. Got it out of there. And here's the seal for that, which that matches up a whole lot better. All right, quick update on my life. It's in shambles. I pulled this shaft out right here. I pulled it out. Long story short is I pulled it out, and that was on the end of it. That's back in here. So I either have to split the tractor in half again, which is going to be a total nightmare, or I can get away with popping this cover off. Maybe I can get down in there, see the bearings. I have all the bolts off. It's real easy to take this top cover off. Disconnect your linkage over here and here. Go all the way around, take your bolts off, take that cover off, and then you can use your seat bolts, and that's it. Now putting it back on is a different story. You got that side cover you got to take off over here and make sure that those fingers go down in front of the roller, both fingers, which would be down in here. But it's going to be another day, that's for sure. But I get this far apart, I might as well pull my pump out, which I wasn't going to do. I might as well pull the pump out, see if it needs rebuilt. See that? She's up. I'm just going to pray to God I can get to my bolt, get to my bearings. Now this here's your little standpipe. You want to make sure the O-rings are good. And you see how they're bad? See that O-ring? Let me get you some light. Now that could have been me this morning, just now. But if you come down here, this one has a crack in it right there. All your fluid goes through here. I might as well rebuild the pump because arms were doing this when they come up, and then as soon as I shut it down, they drop down pretty quick. That's a good sign that your pump's bad. There's other things that could be wrong. There's seals in this piston right here. Those will go bad. Got this pin out of here. So then you slide this back, and it was the high-low. Oh man. Okay. So now we got to take that back piece off. We got to take the PTO shaft out. So to get this out, pop these off, and then it'll come right out. We'll see how it goes. Oh man, I never even recorded any of that, but I got it out of there. You have to take these 3 bolts off and then pop it out. I'll show you. Man, my bad. Darn it. Anyhow, you take this cover off of here, and then this here's just one of those PTO protectors. I screwed it in, and I was able to just, I mean, it came right out. I've wiggled it like 12 times. So, but they don't always come out, so if it doesn't, just keep working at it. But now I gotta figure out how to get that PTO shaft out of there. Oh, it worked. We'll take these pins out of the side right here. Alright. There we go. And I can tell you already, right now, that this thing is junk, that it needs rebuilt. This GoPro is just going to be, look at the scoring on that. You can see them. You can see it from here. Looks like somebody took a grinder to it. There you can see it. Now see all those bearings down there? I don't know if you can see them or not. Well, that was easy. It came right out. There we go. She's in. Seal going back in the input shaft housing. So that should be ready to go. Back in. This is the shaft that caused me all the problems. We have everything buttoned back up. My safety wire is not good. It'll do the job. We have the cover back on the bottom. Throwout bearing is in, springs are on, the shafts are in. For the clutch, the brake shaft is in, woodruff key repaired, and that's in, clutch pedals on. I replaced these bolts. These ones were, the originals were, they were in pretty rough shape. So put new bolts on there, and I tried to get the spacing right, or the distance. You're supposed to measure from here to here, you know, the height of these bolts. They're supposed to, I want them all the same, obviously, so they're pushing on that bearing at the exact same time. Anyhow, I tried my best without the tool, and that's that. Clutch alignment tool, of course I used it, and I think it's pretty, it's tight. I don't know why it's so darn tight. Okay. That's tough trying to remember the camera. Okay. I just knocked it out. Here is the old one. Here is the new. And then there's another O-ring somewhere right here. This bad boy here. Just like that. This guy will go in here, and you want to make sure that it's oriented correctly because of these. Here, I'll show. This will go in here just like that. So you want that to line up there before you. There we go. She's in there. There. Ay, ay, ay. Everything looks good. Still good. Still good. Still good. Still good. Still good. Okay. So now, with that new pump in there, we'll see how fast these arms leak down. Now before, I was able to just stand on them and they would leak down. And they're not going anywhere. Before, those would just creep right down. And also, they would jolt going up. I don't know how I'm going to put this video together because it was supposed to be just an input shaft seal. And then once I pulled it apart, I pulled out the needle bearings on that lower shaft. That is why I had to take the top cover off, and since I was in there, I rebuilt the pump, changed out that needle bearing, and so it was a whole lot when it was supposed to be just a little bit of work, but I'll figure it out. And real quick, the biggest headache was that square bolt that held the clutch shafts together there where the throwout bearing is. complete nightmare. That's a square headed bolt. I used a 10 millimeter, but it's not metric. So what is that? 3/8 or something? Either way, complete nightmare. I was able to use a socket on the right side. Couldn't use it on the left side. Soaked it with PB Blaster. Finally got it after a couple days. Anyhow, other than that, it was that wood rough that gave me some issues, but I just filed it up, filed it flat, put it back in I reused that. I used this here for the back. This is for the PTO. That made it real easy to pull that out. And same with putting it back in, screwed it in there, hit it with a sledgehammer, pushed that O-ring right in, and we were good to go. The clutch alignment tool. Now, on mine, I took my clutch off because I was going to change the rear main seal until I realized I have to take the bottom pan off, and that's connected to the front. Long story, I said no way, but I took my clutch off. I wanted to make sure it was okay, and it was. I changed the pilot bearing. I'll put that part number in there. But when you go to do this, although you have a clutch alignment tool and your splines are straight, this is what I learned. They can be straight, lined up, but the problem is if you have this drooping any, that means this plate out here, there's a couple of them, if this plate out here is too low, it's not going to go together, and that was my problem. So I took everything apart. You saw me, I sped it up, the battery went dead, we didn't even get it put back together. But we pulled it apart. I realized that outer plate was not centered. I got it, loosened everything back up, put this back in, ran my fingers around until I could feel that it was the same distance. It was, you'll feel the groove in there. Anyhow, that was my problem. Put it back together, first try, 10 minutes, the tractor was together. So don't let that happen to you. Make sure that it is also centered, not just lined up. Let's see here. Clutch alignment tool, so on and so forth. Yes, this is the clip that I used the screwdriver down through the clutch hole, the bushing, and that held that bottom shaft in. This is actually the brand new one that I forgot to use because I straightened the other one back out before this showed up. Anyhow, you're either going to have to do that or you're going to have to find one major set of snap ring pliers that have the flat nose that spread, because this is a very, very tough circlip. And I'll get the part number. I'll put that in the description in case you ruin yours to the point where you don't want to try to fix it, but you can pound it and straighten it back up. It's not a big deal. And then when I put it in there, you don't see the audio, but I had to twist it a little bit to get it started on the one side. And then I worked it around with a screwdriver and I pounded it in. It was kind of tough, but like I said, I couldn't do it with, I didn't have the pliers, and I don't even know if this thing would spring back. I don't know. You'll figure it out, I guess, like I did, but that's an option. I'll put the part number in there if you want it. The footage, it is extremely difficult. I cannot stress this enough. It is so hard when you don't have a cameraman to move a camera and you're trying to get the right angle, the lighting, trying to stay out of the shot, my arms, my head, this and that. It's 100 degrees. I'm covered in grease. I'm going through rubber gloves like crazy, moving, trying to keep it charged. At one point, the battery went dead in the microphone. That's why when I'm buttoning things up, there's no audio. So it was very difficult, and it was frustrating because it was the first time I'd ever done this. So I'm learning as I go, running into issues, and then to remember to run the camera at the same time. It is not the easiest thing. So I hope it's not terrible footage. I tried to brighten up the places that it was dark. I tried to zoom in where it was too far, and I tried to fix the audio where it was too quiet. I tried my hardest to make it as useful as possible. I tried to cut out as much nonsense. That was the first time I've ever split a tractor. If I can do it, you can do it. Hopefully this helps somebody. I'll put all of the parts that I used down in the description below, so you don't have to spend 3 hours like I did trying to make sure you get the right parts, because some of this shipping is not cheap. Yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I hope this was helpful. Thank you very, very much for watching, and we'll see you.